Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CAHME Annual Report Update webinar. I want to begin today by recognizing CAHME's sponsors, corporate sponsors, and award sponsors and donors. Their support is instrumental in advancing our mission to improve the quality of healthcare management education. These organizations and individuals not only provide vital resources, but they also share their expertise and collaborate with us to strengthen programs and prepare future leaders. We are truly grateful for their commitment to excellence. Now to introduce myself for anyone who may not know me, my name is Stacy Rowand, and I am the Associate VP of Information Systems at CAHME. I am your point of contact for any questions about the annual report, the CARE tool, and our benchmarking tools, and I'm here to help ensure you have the resources and support you need to use all of those tools effectively. So let's take a quick look at today's agenda. I'll start by discussing why we do an annual report and the value it brings to our programs and accreditation process. From there, I'll walk you through the CAHME annual report process itself and introduce you to our new webpage that outlines the steps and resources available to you. I'll then cover a few key reminders, review what's needed for U.S. News and World Report, and explore our C-suite of benchmarking reports. We'll wrap up with time for your questions, so you'll leave today's session with clarity and tools that you need. So let's begin with the purpose of the annual report. So why does CAHME require our programs to do an annual report? There are several important reasons. First, CAHME's mission is to advance the quality of healthcare management education, and that mission drives every aspect of our work, from setting rigorous standards to fostering continuous improvement. We are also recognized by CHIA, the Council for Higher Education Accreditation, which requires accreditors to uphold high-quality practices. One of CHIA's expectations is that we collect program data annually and monitor performance over time. In addition, CHIA requires programs to make key outcomes and accreditation status publicly available. This ensures transparency and reinforces that programs are meeting CAHME standards on an ongoing basis, not just at the time of an accreditation review. For our programs that are seeking initial accreditation, meeting the annual report expectations is a strong indicator of readiness for candidacy. It shows that they have the structure and processes in place to support high-quality education and long-term success. And lastly, the annual report allows CAHME to provide tools that support value beyond accreditation. Our C-suite of reports, which are built from the annual report data, give programs actionable insights that they can use to support strategic planning, engage stakeholders, and drive their own internal performance improvement efforts. These C-suite reports allow programs to see how they compare with their peers and highlight opportunities for continued growth and excellence. Now let's take a look at the annual report process. The annual report collection period begins on July 1st. At this time, we recommend programs on a traditional academic year to begin surveying their graduate population, those within the past academic year, following the completion of their studies. CAHME provides a sample graduate survey that programs can incorporate with their own alumni questions. This sample graduate survey is especially helpful given the specific wording of CAHME's graduate satisfaction questions in the annual report. The survey was emailed to all programs, and it can also be accessed in CARE, CAHME's annual report editor, and on CAHME's website under the Resources tab. While gathering the data from the graduate surveys between July and October, we recommend that programs begin to enter non-graduate specific data into CARE. To assist with any questions you may have on the fields within the annual report, CAHME provides an annual report data dictionary that describes the data gathered in CAHME's annual report. It also includes key benchmark data. Just like the sample graduate survey, this data dictionary is also available in CARE and on CAHME's website. Once graduate data is gathered, the program should work on entry of that data between October and November, with final submission of a complete annual report by November 15th. Our goal is to have 100% of accredited programs submit on time. Once again, programs on a traditional academic year will have to submit and verify CAHME 2025 annual report on or before November 15th, 2025. But you'll note there is a little asterisk there, and I'll discuss what that means now. So based on program director input, and for those handful of programs on a January to December timeframe, I will be reaching out to you separately regarding your specific timeline and annual report due date. If you don't hear from me, then you can feel free to email me and we will talk through what that timeline looks like for your program. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So just to review, programs should currently be in the phase of surveying their graduates and gathering of that data. This ensures that the program will have the data needed on graduate placement, income, and satisfaction. In addition, at this point, programs may begin completing the annual report for sections that are not specific to graduate data. Also, if your program did not participate in CAHME's annual faculty editor, also known as CAFE, last year, then this would be a great time to start entering that faculty data. Here is a quick overview of what data sections in CARE need to be completed for the 2025 annual report. We will just be asking for data in the academic year 2024 to 2025. Therefore, most of you will just be verifying the information in section 1 and then entering the data in sections 2 through 8. I will cover what is needed for sections 9 and 10 in the data review later in this presentation. Currently, about 75% of all programs within CARE are using the CAHME Annual Faculty Editor, CAFE. So I'm going to show a little bit more detail specifically about section 4 and how those sections will get completed. So for programs using CAFE, if you completed faculty profiles for the annual report last year, then you are going to see those same profiles within CAFE. For this year, you will need to review those profiles and update for accuracy. If a faculty member is no longer with the program, the profile can be deactivated using this little toggle seen on the screen. For anyone new to CAFE system, you will complete a faculty profile as shown here on the left for each one of your program's faculty. As a reminder, if you provide compensation information as part of the profiles, then you will be able to access the CComp report, which allows you to benchmark faculty salary compensation data. But I'll go into more detail on that later. Once you have completed faculty profiles for each one of your faculty members, then section 4, faculty summary, will show the summarized data of your entire faculty complement. These calculations happen automatically based on the information entered within the CAFE profiles. Now to go back to talking more generically about data entry and CARE. Within CARE, you will notice the yellow highlighted fields within the most recent academic year. These yellow highlighted data fields are what must be completed for this year's annual report. Each one of these highlighted fields correspond to an item within the data review section shown on the right. The data review section is located between sections 9 and 10 of the annual report. Every item within this data review section must be addressed, even if that means entering a 0 value. In section 10, you will see the gray box as shown here until you have addressed every one of those data points that was listed in the data review. Once that is done, the gray box will turn blue, and you will be able to sign off on this year's annual report as your final official submission for that November 15th deadline. You will then need to enter your initials and select the 2024-2025 academic year before hitting the Verify and Save button as your official submission. So new this year is the annual report process webpage. You can access this page by going to the CAHME homepage, then selecting the accreditation dropdown. This page includes an overview of the annual report process, a list of the resources that can aid you in completion of the annual report. The recording of this webinar will be located here sometime next week. And lastly, at the bottom of the page are a list of FAQs. So now I'm going to touch on a few reminders to keep in mind when completing your annual report. You can access CARE through the CAHME website, www.cahme.org. At the top right of the homepage, there is a login hub for our program's Within the dropdown, you will find the CAHME Annual Report Editor, or CARE. Once you are taken to the CARE login page, we ask that you remember that your director ID is case sensitive and should be all lowercase. If you have any issues logging into your CARE account, please reach out to me. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the types of logins that are available to your programs. Right now, most programs are working with a single program director login, and that's fine. However, I'd like to provide you with a reminder on what other logins are available to your program. So first, we have the admin assistant user. This user will have access to all data entry within CARE, just as the program director login does, with one exception, faculty compensation data. This means that you can have a second login that is able to enter data in addition to your program director login. But in order to ensure that the compensation data is kept private, we do not allow the admin assistant user to see the compensation data entered by the program director. If you are interested in adding an admin assistant user to your program, please reach out to me. Then there is the faculty compensation specialist login. This is going to be a less commonly used login and is available to programs where the program director does not have access to their faculty compensation data, but would like to provide it to be able to be given access to the benchmarking compensation report. For these programs, they can assign someone within their human resources or similar level a login to enter only faculty compensation data. This user will not have access to any other section other than Section 4. And when this user is enabled, the program director login will no longer be able to see compensation fields. Again, this ensures the compensation data is kept private. So if you are interested in the faculty compensation specialist for your program, please reach out to me. Now, a few other things to talk about within the annual report. Due to changes in university policy and as a result of federal and state laws, some programs may no longer be collecting information on faculty and graduates regarding race and ethnicity. I wanted to show you that within both of these sections of the annual report, if this is the case for your program, the option to list unknown ethnicity and unknown race is available. First, you can see here where the unknown option is available within the CAFE profiles. Again, this data will then reflect in the faculty summary section. And here is where the unknown option is available in Section 6 for graduate data. So moving on to U.S. News and World Report. I'm going to start with a little background on U.S. News rankings. With regards to healthcare management, the first rankings occurred in 1993. And the most recently released rankings were in 2025. The criteria for being ranked is to be accredited by CAHME. CAHME provides to U.S. News a list of universities with accredited healthcare management education programs, along with 2 primary contacts for each university. Even if a university has multiple accredited programs, it is listed only once, unless those programs are housed in different schools within the university. In those cases, each school is listed separately. An example of this would be Boston University. It would appear twice on the list because it has an MBA program accredited through the School of Business and an MPH program accredited through the School of Public Health. One of the contacts provided will always be the program director. Then the university can provide a second contact. Both of these contacts will be given the opportunity by U.S. News to vote on the rankings. So here's what we need from you, our program directors, by August 31st. First, we need you to verify that your university name and school name are correct in Section 1. Most of you have this information completed in your CARE profiles already, so we just need that verification. Next, in Section 9, we need you to verify the program director contact information and the secondary contact information. The email address is the most important because this is how U.S. News and World Report will contact you for the survey. Now, some of you have multiple logins for CARE for each one of your program variations. If you are a program director with more than one CARE login, the secondary login will be enabled for only one of those profiles, unless, of course, you are an exception similar to Boston University that was given on the last slide. This is to ensure that we only receive 2 contacts per university. If you have any questions on this at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So moving on to our benchmarking reports. As I mentioned on the why an annual report slide in the beginning of this presentation, the annual report ensures continued compliance with CAHME standards by monitoring recruitment data, student demographics, graduation rates, outcomes, and graduate satisfaction. However, in addition to meeting accreditation requirements, we have chosen to use this data to help our programs in supporting program improvement. We have developed 5 unique reports that analyze annual report data, providing programs with insights into their strengths and areas for improvement. These 5 reports are known as the C-Suite. CAHME's goal with the C-Suite of reports is to help our programs create a mission-focused, data-driven strategic plan. These reports, of course, are just one piece of a puzzle of your program strategic plan. Like I said, the C-Suite is composed of 5 unique reports. The first report, C Benchmarks, was previously known as CARB, allows you to benchmark your program's annual report data against a user-defined peer group. C Trends shows a 3-year trend on annual report data based on a user-defined peer group. The C Peers report shows you the top 10 compared peer programs to your program based on the public users of CAHME's advanced search tool. This data will help you identify your program's peer groups, which is the catalyst to running the C-Suite reports. C Faculty looks at detailed faculty characteristics of a user-defined peer group. And lastly, as I've mentioned a few times in this presentation, is the C Comp report, which provides total faculty compensation based on faculty status, contract length, and additional filters. I'm going to give you a very brief overview of these reports, but you can learn more about them by accessing a series of webinars that were done over the past few months on the C-Suite, which show you step-by-step how to use these reports. Now, how to access these reports. Once you are logged into the CARE portal, you will see this page with your program's logo. At the top of the page is the dropdown for the C-Suite reports. Upon selecting the dropdown, the list of C-Suite reports will appear. If your program does not have access to a particular report, it will be grayed out. All programs who have met the annual report requirements for last year should at this point have been granted access to C Benchmarks and C Trends. I will talk more about permissions in a few slides from now. You may be wondering what the numbers are in the parentheses after the reports. This is the count of times that each of the reports has been run by your program. So let's start by looking at the C Peers report. This report is a little bit different than the rest of the C-Suite in that the main source of this data comes from the public users of the CAHME Advanced Search tool. All of the data that you enter into the CARE system as a program director for your annual report is reviewed by CAHME staff. And if you are a candidate or accredited program, the data is then made available on CAHME's Advanced Search tool, which is publicly available on our website, CAHME.org. Every time someone accesses the Advanced Search tool, we are recording the actions being taken by that individual. This is the data that feeds the C Peers report. For those of you who may not be familiar with CAHME's Advanced Search tool, I recommend you go to the CAHME webpage and click on the yellow sticky, which will take you to the tool. This is what the C Peers report looks like. I have used all made-up program names. Again, I'm not going to go into too many specifics, but this report shows you a few things. First, it shows you how many times your program was viewed on CAHME's Advanced Search tool. In this example, this program was viewed 967 times since January 1st, 2024. Next, the report shows you the top 10 programs that were most compared to your program on CAHME's Advanced Search tool. And finally, it breaks down all comparisons that were done to give you a general understanding of the types of programs you are most being compared to, whether that be part-time, full-time, various degrees, or different delivery modes. This next report is the C Benchmarks report, which was previously known as CARB. This report has been around for a few few years now, but has been maintained to include all additions and changes to the annual report over the years. This report allows you to compare your program's annual report data to that of a peer-defined group of programs defined by you. You can filter your selections of programs to include in this report ones that are most like yours. You are then able to see where your program's data falls within the benchmarking data of that selection. The C Trends report works similar to the C Benchmarks report in that you can select filter criteria to define your peer group of programs of which you want to see the trend of annual report data. This report currently shows a 3-year trend of the data entered into CARE for the programs included in your selection. Using your program's annual report along with this C Trend report, you can see how your program's trend compares to the trends of your user-defined peer group. The C Faculty report analyzes faculty characteristics for a user-defined peer group. So once again, as the user of this report, you will be able to filter it to programs that you define. The report then provides 5 different cross charts breaking down the faculty characteristics of those programs. 2 of the examples shown here are the faculty status by number of students in the program and the discipline by faculty status. In this example of the 139 programs included in this report, in the first chart, you can see that despite the size of the program, a significant portion of the faculty members are adjuncts. In the second chart, professors' academic and practical experience falls mostly within health management policy and leadership management. This report allows you to look at how your faculty complement compares to those of your user-defined peer group. And last but not least is the CComp report. So this report is available to those programs who enter compensation data within their CARE profiles. Current participation is for US-based programs only. All salaries that are entered within the CARE profiles have been normalized based on a cost of living index. This report allows you to filter by faculty status, contract length, and private or public school status, with additional filters coming, including adjunct compensation based on credit hours taught. Once you hit process, you will then be taken to a page which shows you the percentile breakdown and the mean comparison compensation numbers. Remember that these numbers are all normalized using a cost of living index to make them comparable to your program. These numbers are also based on total compensation, which includes a base salary, incentives, and overload. Access to this suite of reports is defined in this chart. Access to C benchmarks, C trends, and C peers is based on your state within the CAHME lifecycle and the number of years of completed annual report data. For example, as an accredited program, to maintain access to this suite of reports, the annual report must be completed for all sections yearly. For the specialized faculty reports, C faculty and C comp, there is a bit more to it than just completing faculty profiles in order to obtain access. Depending on the state within the CAHME lifecycle that your program is in, there are general annual report requirements that need to be met. The permissions to access these 2 reports are a combination of completing the annual report expectations and providing the detailed faculty characteristics within the faculty profiles. For anyone who would like to dig deeper into these reports through the webinar series, the 3-part series can be found on our webpage, www.cahme.org/webinars. More information on our benchmarking tools can also be found on our benchmarking tools webpage, which is located under the resources tab.
Is asking, do adjunct faculty receive a faculty profile?
Yes, adjunct faculty members should receive an adjunct or a faculty profile. Within that profile, there's going to be certain areas that you'll have to complete that are specific for an adjunct, including the hours taught. And if you include compensation for those adjunct faculty based on those hours taught, that helps to feed our CComp report, which will, we'll be able to provide that information then to you for benchmarking purposes.
Stacy, can I ask a clarification on that one?
Sure.
I've read all the updates. I've already finished our annual report. And for adjuncts, it indicated something about if they are teaching elsewhere within your university, you count that, their pay, etc. We have An adjunct, we hired her. She teaches 2 of our courses and we pay her like any other adjunct. It's a fixed rate. But she was subsequently hired by the university and is now a full-time faculty member in the nursing school teaching nursing courses not related to us. Do I exclude all that and just focus on the adjunct pay that we give her and the courses she teaches?
Yes, I would
I
do
thought.
exactly that. Yep.
Thank you. There's been some confusion for a long time. We understood, and I think it was written somewhere that you were to survey your new graduated students 3 months post graduation. And I don't remember if it was within 3 months or 3 months post. And then I was later, and we've seen in multiple messages come out that's not been the requirement for a long time, that you're supposed to survey them immediately upon graduation. So that's what we did this year. But then in your timeline that you lay out, you show surveying them from July to October. Well, traditionally, we graduate students in May. Traditional programs graduate in May. So we are then back to May to June, July, August. So we're back to, I could have surveyed them 3 months later, which, think about it, if you're looking for employment rates, it's better to survey them, give them a little time to get employed. So I kind of gypped ourselves 3 months of opportunity for them to get employed. So what is it? I'm confused. Thank you.
Okay. So, Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe my understanding of it was that it used to say within 3 months, as in you only had 3 months, right? But we actually, you can at this point collect graduate data all the way up until the annual report submission is due, right? So, I think in the past, Michelle's communications were sort of along the lines of like, we recommend at least waiting till July because it's possible that we may put something a little bit different in our graduate survey that, might end up changing some of the data that you need to grab. But if you happen to survey those graduates before that, that's okay too. So that's been my understanding of that. Eric, do you have anything to add there?
You stated it perfectly. One thing to consider, in terms of response rate, the longer you wait to survey people, is that going to hurt your response rate? So something to think about.
And I must say, we've been able to track them down via LinkedIn. I have all
Right.
their phone numbers. I
Okay.
text them. We find the data, but it's nice to know that we weren't, again, the guidance that we got in an email that I saw was immediately after. And so we do have up until through the summer to do this, so I can change back to my old way then. That's what I'm hearing.
Correct. That's my understanding. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As an Excel sheet, not currently. That is something that we were looking at and considering, and is potentially on our radar so that, you can do something with that data, if you wanted to be able to import it, into maybe an AI tool or something like that. But currently, no, it's only printable via like a PDF.
Okay, if we have already submitted our annual report, can I still go in and add a secondary contact? Or do I need additional access?
The secondary contact for US News, you can go in there and edit that at any point. And when you go in and you sign off on your data, it doesn't lock it. That data is still your data and is still editable. You'll see when you're within the care system, if you should end up gathering, data on that you wanted to add in later or something like that, that's always available and always editable to you. The sign off just tells us that you are ready for us to review it so that that can become published on the advanced search tool, but also so that we can take a look at that and start our assessment of, your program as well.
I have one question, if you don't mind. We revised our curriculum last year, so should I report that in the program updates that you want by the 31st of this month?
So that would still be part of the November 15th submission. However, it is possible, I think we'll touch base with you. It is possible that a substantive change may be needed for that. So Eric will reach out to you regarding that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
The August 31st date is just that secondary contact that we need for the US news. Everything else is needed by November 15th. So if August 31st comes and you have not updated that secondary contact, whatever information is in there is what CAHME will take and provide to US news.
And Brandy is actually a candidate program, so you'll note it with your candidacy application too, Brandy.
Perfect.
And
Thank you.
And then the secondary contact won't apply to you at all because that would be just for accredited programs. Healthcare
Thank you.
management accredited programs. Yep. Thanks, Brandy. Okay, I see this will be our first annual report. Can a program download a full copy of our annual report once we complete it? You can. So up on the top left, when you're within the care, you're going to see a print option. I believe it's like a yellowy orange color or reddish orange color button. You will hit that, and then you'll be able to save that as a PDF and print it out. It is literally a printout of exactly what you see within the care system, just as a PDF or printable file.
Yeah, Stacy, I did have a question follow up on the previous question about a change in the curriculum. We did change a specific course title, but the content is the same, so it's just the course number and title has changed. Does that go into the program changes as well, or that needs to go through a different process?
I don't think that that's even needed in the program changes. Do you agree with that, Eric? That seems minor. Course
Yeah.
numbers. If there's a change to your actual curriculum that you're providing to your student, then I would say that's definitely something we want to see in there.
Yeah, just clarify in the CAFE for the benefits dollar value.
Yes.
Previously, I had asked about this, and I just want to make sure it's still the same. When we put in the benefits, we go into our pay stub, and it shows what the university pays in taxes, Social Security, health benefits, all of that. So it includes all of that, correct?
Yep, it's a total compensation
Okay.
package.
Yeah, so even though they're paying taxes out, that's considered
Yeah.
a benefit, so
Yeah.
that. Okay, I just want to
Yeah.
clarify so others that may not realize that's what you do. And it's pretty easy. You just have them look at their pay stub, and there's usually breakdown of benefits.
Yeah. What we could do is put some more clarifying. I'll take note of that, of what's actually included in there, just so that it is clear when you're looking at the report.
Yeah, because it makes you look like you're getting paid a whole heck of a lot more. It's in there, and then you're not.
What's the actual take home, right?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Again, if you have any questions, need any assistance with anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and I can help you with anything related to care, camp, and CAHME toolset.